So I'm here with Anise and Ben from Rhondda Hub for Veterans. And first of all, Anise, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
And can you tell us a little bit more, as the person who established the organisation, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, the Rhondda Hub was set up in order to access suitable, sustainable accommodation for veterans that's on our streets and those that's in our prisons. It's important that they have accommodation when they're coming out of prison, otherwise they land back on the streets and end up back in prison. So we target the private rented sector, so we've built up a network of estate agents, private landlords who are willing to work with us to assist these guys. We've got 12 or 13 now, I believe, back into employment. Some are not ready, so it's about networking and making sure that we partner with the correct organisations within our communities for the further support. We are not jack of all trades. We're good at what we do, but we need others then to pick them up within our communities to support them for PTSD. You know, their mental health is a big one for the guys, and you know, any substance misuse issues that they may or may not have.
How important is it to make contact with the service users sort of as quickly as possible?
Well, ideally, yes, because targeting the private rented sector, especially in this climate, has become more difficult. But I've got a brilliant team, and they're still able to access accommodation for the guys that's coming out, and women. It's not just for men; it's women also. So, sorry, I've forgotten your question.
No, in terms of in terms of making contact and giving them that certain level of support as quickly as possible, that's key, I suppose, making that connection.
Well, absolutely, because we can place them into a housing, but we're not an estate agent, so it isn't put them into housing and then say, okay, you're housed, bye. Because once they're housed, then that's when the problems start arising. You know, it is a big issue for them to go into accommodation in the first place, because they get anxiety kicks in and you know they get a bit panicky. But so it is really important that, you know, if we need to, there's the crisis team. If we need to, there's a drug and alcohol service, mental health services, and anybody that they, whatever support that they require, because everybody's an individual.
Of course.
So it's tailoring that package of support for that individual.
And Ben, can you tell us a little bit more about your experience with the Rhondda Hub?
So I was referred to the Rhondda Hub from a library due to me not being able to cope in the situation for the veteran service, because they wasn't hitting my needs specifically for what I needed, because I needed a lot more support than just housing. I've got mental health issues myself. I am an ex-drug user. Obviously, I'm ex-Royal Navy. When I left the Navy, the forces don't really teach you how to become a person again. So when you come out, obviously, you shut yourself away, you isolate yourself, and then I went to jail. I've come out since then. Obviously, Anise has done absolute wonders for me. They found me accommodation. I've been struggling with my mental health recently, and that did lead to me going into custody for a bit longer. But since then, Anise has always been my first point of call. And without them, to be honest, I wouldn't be here today. I really wouldn't be. So.
And you've obviously come on a long way, and now you're one of the volunteers as well within the organisation. How important are those volunteers? Do you want to start with that, Ben?
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, because Anise was there for me and picked me up, I wanted to give something back to, obviously, veterans in the same situation as myself, because I know how isolating and lonely and how everything can build on top of you. With us, I'm doing the resettlement side, so I'm looking at the properties. I'll go out and risk assess them to make sure, because I know what needs I'd need to feel safe and secure in my own home. And I've offered my services to that, and since then I've found a couple of homes for a few veterans, and obviously free. I haven't been here that long either. But no, yes, I am a volunteer. I love the job. I'm actually going to go on to do my IAG qualification so I can become a proper support worker with the Veterans Hub.
Fantastic. And Anise, in terms of the volunteers, how easy is it to become a volunteer? What can they do aside from what Ben does? Is there a number of roles that they can get involved in?
There's always a number of roles. We're a small charity, so I think Dylan would be able to answer that better than I. There are always a number of roles, but it is important because you know, our funding is very tight for everybody at the moment, so we can't always, you know, we'd like people in, but we can't always pay them, you know. So it is just keep battling. We know we're doing good. We know what we're capable of doing, and our expertise is getting them housed and then working with others in order to fulfil their requirements.
Well, congratulations on your award again. And
Thank
thank you for
you.
all the work that you do. Sounds fantastic, and well done, Ben. And thanks very much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.